Welcome back. I hope you're doing great. In the previous video, we understood the types of data warehouse architecture based on the layers. As a part of this video, we'll understand the types of data warehouse architecture based on the tiers. We do have data warehouse architecture based on number of tiers. Am I talking about a Dunlop tier here? Not really. We are talking about a tier of applications. Based on the number of tiers, we have three types of data warehouse architecture. One is single tier architecture. Second one is two tier architecture. The third one is three tier architecture. So what is happening in the single tier architecture? As the name indicates, we have a single tier here. So here there is no explicit component that separates the analytical and transactional processing. In a way, reporting tools are also attached to the data warehouse. That is why it is called as a single tier architecture. So here we want to minimize the amount of data stored. That is the reason we are not trying to establish an explicit separation between the transactional processing and the analytical processing. So here we want to remove the redundancy between the transactional processing and analytical processing. Though we have a single tier architecture, but it is hardly used in practice. Then coming to the two tier architecture. What is happening in two tier architecture? Here, first and foremost thing is there is a client and data source server. We have a client applications and we do have a data source. One more important aspect is we do have a data staging layer. Since we have a presentation layer running on a client and data is stored on a server called the second tier. That is the reason it is called as a two tier architecture. In addition to client server machines, we do have a staging area where the data is stored in the staging area before it is transformed and moved to the data warehouse layer. If you see here, there is no intermediate application between the client, you can say client as a presentation, and the data warehouse layer. It is only client and server. The client being the presentation layer and the server where the data is stored is a data layer. In terms of advantages, two-tier architectures are easy to maintain. Modification of the stored data is easy, and obviously it will have disadvantages. Like to some extent, there is a performance issue. Performance will be degraded if the number of users accessing the data warehouse is more. It is also to some extent cost ineffective as compared to the three-tier architecture. So we have three-tier architecture where this whole getting the data, cleansing the data, storing the data in data warehouse, and then presenting the data to end users, or this whole process is divided into three tiers. One is bottom tier, the second one is middle tier, the third one is top tier. So in the three-tier architecture, functional process logic, data access, computer data storage, and user interface are developed and maintained as a three different platforms. So what is happening here is we have operational databases like RDBMS, Oracle, MySQL, or PostgreSQL, and we do have a external sources, and we have a data coming from some files. It is extracted, transformed, and loaded into the data warehouse. Depending upon the requirement, we do create the data marts. And we have a presentation layer where we have a front-end tools. Between front-end tool and the data, we have a one more tier called middle tier, where we have a OLAP servers. Let us look at them one by one in bit more detail. In case of bottom tier, we have a data in the data warehouse servers. Obviously, the data warehouse is a relational database system. Here, the data is cleansed, transformed, and loaded into this layer by using ETL tools and backend tools. Then comes the middle tier. In the middle tier, there is a OLAP server. Why do we need to have a OLAP server here? What happens is if you have a data warehouse and the client or presentation layer is directly pulling the data from data warehouse, there may be some performance issues. Just to avoid that, we are introducing a middle tier with the OLAP servers, which can be implemented with the ROLAP or MOLAP. That way, for the presentation layer, we'll have a abstracted view of the database. That means how the data is stored and all those things, it doesn't matter to the front end tools. It will be abstracted because this arranges the data to make it more suitable for the users. When it is arranging the data to make it more suitable for the analysis, obviously the performance should be better. So in a way, it acts as a mediator between the end user and the data warehouse. So what is happening in the top tier? Here we have a front end client layer where we'll get a jazzy reports. Top tier is nothing but the tools and API that users connect to get the data from the data warehouse via OLAP. Those tools can be query tools, reporting tools, managed query tools, analysis tools, or data mining tools. Wonderful. We understood 3 types of architecture based on the tiers. Thank you.